Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, HollywoodShono here, about to give you another Injustice Gods Among Us video. In this video, I wanted to talk about 5 things that I feel that the community should be seeing in Update 3.0, assuming NetherRealm is providing a big update for their 5-year anniversary in April 2018. And who here can believe that Injustice 1 is still doing really good 5 years down the road? The first thing I would like to see within Injustice 1 is something that I don't want to see that has been implemented in WW Immortals and Mortal Kombat X. And that being, we do not need Platinum cards or Diamond cards. We do not need 4 gear slots either, because I definitely do not want to see people running around with 3-piece LexCorp and Astro Harness, or 2-piece LexCorp with Astro Harness, Claw of Horus, or any other stupid busted combinations, or 4 damage grams, where people just crit you in the face for 50,000. That would not be balanced, and I don't think that is interactive at all. Now, the second thing I would like to see within Injustice Gods Among Us 1 is the addition of every Injustice 2 character in Injustice 1. We already have Injustice 2 Superman and Injustice 2 Aquaman, and both cards are amazing. Now, I don't know why. I do know why Aquaman has more damage, because he actually has 1,400 instead of 1,300, but the characters I'd like to see in Injustice 1, and in no particular order because some of them would not require a reskin and some of them would. I'd like to see the entire Injustice 2 cast and even more characters down the road like Static and Killer Croc that we haven't gotten in Injustice 2 but are Injustice 1. That being Atom, Atrocitus, an Injustice 2 version of Bane, an Injustice 2 version of Black Adam, an Injustice 2 version of Black Canary, an Injustice 2 version of Black Manta, an Injustice 2 version of Blue Beetle, Brainiac, Captain Cold, an Injustice 2 version of Catwoman, Cheetah, an Injustice 2 version of Cyborg, Darkseid, Deadshot. Would be sweet with an Injustice 2 version, especially if he has synergy with the other Suicide Squad members. Dr. Fate, Enchantress, Firestorm. Another version of the Flash would be pretty cool. And of course, since Reverse Flash is in Injustice 2, I wouldn't even mind seeing a version of that where Reverse Flash, instead of being able to cleanse his health and debuff 3 times when taking a special, why not have the swap health mechanic kind of like Rebirth Raven has, or even just some power generation? That would be pretty cool. Gorilla Grodd, an Injustice 2 version of Green Arrow, an Injustice 2 version of Green Lantern, with his cycling buffs would actually be pretty cool. I think that would be a welcome addition, kind of having like Rebirth Green Arrow's effect that could either give you like half a bar of power or the Tantu Totem effect to a teammate without having the gear item, or even a chance to stun on your next hit to allow Cloak of Destiny to fire off quite a bit. Not necessarily power generation, maybe just more power. Like you get a 15% bonus of power generation for 5 seconds, or crit damage. You have a chance to get 100% crit damage for 5 seconds. Some sort of cycle buff would be pretty cool. I'd also like to see an Injustice 2 version of Harley Quinn, Hellboy, Injustice 2 the Joker, and even the Turtles would be kind of cool. You could throw that in for one update and that'd be pretty cool. Poison Ivy, Raiden, Red Hood, Robin, Scarecrow, Starfire, Sub-Zero would be really awesome with Scorpion, and even Raiden would see a lot of usefulness with Scorpion and Sub-Zero, because then you can start running Mortal Kombat teams, and that might get people hyped to play Injustice 1 again. Also, Supergirl, Swamp Thing, and Wonder Woman could get a new Injustice 2 skin. And it would be really cool, and I know the idea got scrapped with the new mobile game instead of adding Injustice 2 characters in the mobile game. I think could see a lot of people playing it with a really good update. Even premier skins like Bizarro, Black Lightning, Donatello, Grid, Jay Garrick, John Stewart, who's already in Injustice 1, could get an Injustice 2 copy. Michelangelo, Mr. Freeze, Power Girl, Raphael, and as I talked about, Reverse Flash could have an Injustice 2 skin. Vixen and White Canary would be welcomed in Injustice 1, even if they were boss characters. You could even throw in some characters from DC Legends, and it'd be really badass. Considering this is the original Injustice Gods Among Us, it wouldn't be bad. Now, the third thing I would like to see regarding bosses. As we know, Raven's health swap already protects against bosses. But in playing Battle 56, as you guys knew from the video that I did, those fights are actually way too easy because bosses are affected by dots. So I would like to see all of the fights within Battle 56, not necessarily the mini bosses, but all of the boss fights just make them immune to dots, make them immune to power drains, and give bosses the ability to defend super moves. And I think that would be perfect. I think that would make Battle 56 an actual challenge where you actually have to have 3 people that are competent instead of just using Arkham Knight Batman with League of Assassins, Adept Knives, Ibis Stick, and Power Generation and just dominate the fight. And if we want to go to another level, make the bosses immune to critical damage. So now special 2s and 1s do less damage, and your basic attacks aren't going to do much. I feel that while Page 8 of Battles was a step forward to improving the campaign and adding challenge in the game, dot damage made the encounters too easy, and this is obviously prominent within Battle 56. Now, another thing I would like to also talk about that has come up in the past is a 4th difficulty and challenge. We have had 3 difficulties since Update 2.0, and the last difficult 3 difficulty challenge was 600 Wonder Woman right before the 2.0 update, and they actually felt like a nightmare when they first came out because there was no gear involved and there was no power creep. Now, you throw on Elite 7 or Elite X characters and you basically 3 or 4 shot any fight within Nightmare difficulty. That really does not feel like a nightmare. And this was back in 2014. Fast forward to 2018, all these fights are a joke. I don't care if we don't receive anything for the 4th difficulty, like not even a new character. Yeah, you could probably get credits for it. Maybe they'll give you a couple shards as the rewards, or even like a regular gold booster pack. I want a challenge. I think that would be really cool, and people would actually tune in just to see extreme difficulty. And that would be a step forward because us Injustice 1 players love a challenge. I know that I would love to see a challenge, just like sometimes I do enjoy playing multiplayer just for the challenge of beating ridiculous teams like some of the ones that I highlighted in the Arkham Knight Batgirl video as well as my Ares Elite X video. Finally, another thing I'd like to talk about is a more fun and interactive Survivor mode. Currently, the waves just scale up way too fast, especially once we get to Wave 9. I personally wouldn't be against a Diablo 3 style of progression where the opponents go up in stats between 2 and 20%. For example, in Wave 1, if an opponent has 100,000 health, in Wave 2, they would have 120,000 health. And all the way through Wave 5, they would have 207,360 health, which would be a double increase. Wave 10 in this format has 515,000 health, and I feel that's about how the old style is, and it's just too strong, and that's why there's probably only 16 waves. I personally would devote 5 to 8 hours a day on my free time beta testing this new Survivor mode with 100 waves. And yeah, I would even make YouTube videos on this. I would stream this. It'd be a nice challenge. It would definitely get interest back into Injustice 1, which has been waning quite a bit. And a 5% increase for the waves. For example, Wave 1 would have 100,000 health. Wave 2, 105,000 health. Wave 5 would have 121,000 health. Wave 10, 155,000 health. Wave 20, 252,000 health. Wave 30 would have 411,000 health. Wave 40 would have 670,000 health. Wave 50 would have 1,092,000 health. Now keep in mind, currently in Survivor mode, the gear items like the Ibis Stick, the LexCorp helmet, and gear items like the League of Assassins Adept Blade all do burn damage. And critical damage will amplify the damage that the burns cause. So for example, if you're running the LexCorp helmet, the Ibis Stick, you have max crit augments, you're going to be burning away about 40% health just from those 2 dots alone, which is absolutely ridiculous, but it could make Survivor mode challenging. Now, as far as damage goes, I think about a 2% increase in damage is suitable, maybe 3%. If we're using a 2% increase of damage in effect, so let's say an opponent has 50,000 damage. Obviously, this is going to be scaled way higher when opponents are Elite X, and your damage is, let's say, 90,000 damage or 100,000 damage. I'm sure a character with, like Flashpoint Batman, can probably get that already, as he's level 50 Elite 7 with 58,000 damage, no augments, and only level 50. So at Wave 10, you would have 55,231 damage. At Wave 20, 61,009 damage. Wave 30, 67,392. Wave 40 would have 74,443. Wave 50 would have 82,231, and wave 100 would have 135,240 damage. Now, would this be balanced? I don't know. I think the damage might be able to go a little bit higher, and it would not just obliterate you like the current format does, where if you take a special without blocking gear, you're going to die. Yes, risk versus reward is good, but at wave 14, you have to use special 2s, and that's where a gear item like the Tantu Totem could be really useful. Obviously, a gear item like the Tantu Totem is not useful like Ares, even though you get the unblockable effect, so it's very possible it could be, especially if you have a way to generate a lot of power and dampen power with Killer Frost. I think the rewards in Survivor are fine. You get a last laugh ticket every 3 waves. I think every 10 waves might be acceptable in this new format, or even 5 waves, because it's really time consuming to get augments, and it takes quite a few months to actually max out a character, which is fine. But a leaderboard for placing high in Survivor might be interesting, both with the time cleared and what wave you have hit. And if it's a challenge actually getting to wave 100, which the leaderboard could reset weekly, it could reset daily, it could even reset monthly depending on the circumstances, and it might even be cool to have, like, the Injustice 2 bosses in leagues have certain characters that give you bonuses. You could even include this for the gold characters in Injustice 1, maybe to make bad cards scale up. So, for example, Prison Superman could gain 50% damage and 50% health. And we already know that Prison Superman regenerates like 40% of his health every wave. So a character like Prison Superman, who would otherwise be useless, could actually be a decent character in Survivor mode and would fix the problem of buffing bad cards. For example, Regime Superman has been lost in the shuffle ever since Update 2.0, where you have characters like Ares that, even with 1100 or 1150 damage, are still used in today's meta because they can just obliterate people quickly. Characters like Doomsday could receive, say, 50 to 100% health, and I really feel that the health suppression is bad in Survivor mode, or at least should be toned down to maybe maximum 20 or 30%. Again, this is something that could be beta tested, and if the developers want to actually get with me on that, I would love to work with them. For example, Ragin or Tyler Lansdowne and Ray McCaffrey, I would like to work with you guys to make Survivor mode better and cool, because Injustice 1 has been a gem, and remember, at one point, Injustice 1 was a super popular game, and daily Survivor streams would be an awesome thing. Now, for Injustice 3.0, I would also like to see a proper 3.0 update to Injustice 1, giving you new characters to actually play with in the store and not just challenges. When they added in Injustice 2.0, they gave us characters like Animated Harley Quinn, Arrow Green Arrow, and I'd like to see more characters like that. Batman Returns Catwoman even still gets used because of the extra dot damage, which also does scale with certain effects too. For example, Arkham Knight Catwoman. So I would like to see more characters that are available for credits that you can actually purchase. And if you even want to go to another level, Alliance credits, which have been completely useless for over a year now, could get an overhaul into a premium currency, and you could get new Alliance character credits using said tokens for placing high in multiplayer, and that would give you reason for seasons. For example, the Master's Death card. There is no reason to actually farm for top 1% currently. And it would also give Injustice 1 a premium currency where you could actually buy Alliance credits for real money, just like you can buy energy now in Injustice 1. And St. Patrick's Day, I don't really care about that because they're useless cards, but you could make Alliance credits a premium currency in Injustice 1, but make it farmable as well, so you can actually use the Alliance credits to buy characters, kind of like the Blood Rubies in Mortal Kombat X. And I'd be fine with that. I wouldn't mind grinding for characters. It would give me a reason to push for Arena. It would give me a reason to stream Arena so I could hit top 1% every does offset the offensive-minded characters like Rebirth, Jessica Cruz, Flashpoint, Batman. It gives them a little bit more health to work with. And you can also use Gauntlets of Azrael with 2-piece LexCorp. But then if you throw in the Overpowered Super, you have a offensive, defensive-minded gear set. And this is another reason why we do not need 4 gear slots. Now, Top 2 Totem, in my opinion, is a little bit busted. But busted gear items could also be super fun, like for example with Ares. So I'm okay with that. And gear items like Killer Croc would be more usable if you have 4 gear slots. For example, 2-piece LexCorp, Ibisic, and Killer Croc would make characters super annoying. Or 3-piece Fourth World with Killer Croc's gear item would be super stupid and annoying. So these are all the things that can be put into a new update. Even if it takes a few months, I'm okay with that. But just let the community know you're working on a really good 3.0 update. And stop leaving your fans in the dark. This is a real problem with Injustice 2. And I know that somebody can communicate. If you want an example of a company that does this, look at Reliance Games. They're on the forums every week talking about events. I really think that NetherRealm needs to take a page from some of these developers. They kind of did with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Legends, putting random gear items in Injustice 2. I think upgrading with materials to get a free level on an upgrade might be cool too, but that's just another thing to do. So, who remembers around Christmas time when Injustice 1 was regularly beating Injustice 2 in revenue without any pay-to-win mechanics? Who still plays Injustice 1 without an internet connection? And when the game updates, you can still play it. Let's petition these ideas in NetherRealm on Reddit and even on Discord, and let's push them to make a proper update 3.0 and not the last 2 updates introducing 1 gear item, granted good gear items, like the Master Death Cart and the Top 2 Totem, and 1 character being Gaslight Batman and Rebirth Green Arrow. Hashtag Injustice 1 will never die. Put that in the comments and put that at the end of any post you make. Let's rally for the greatest Injustice 1 update ever since 2.0. And even 2.6 was revolutionary as well. Leave your comments down below. Let's see a good Injustice 3.0 update, and have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for watching this video.
www.youtube.com/HollywoodShono. Subscribe.